Alright guys, so this video is going to be about zero night when you first get to BMT. So in my last video I was at the airport waiting to ship to San Antonio. From the airport we had a layover in Denver where so when you go to MEPS they give you like a voucher for meals, and I use that. You can use it anywhere at the airport for wherever your layover is. Me and my friend, we went to Panda Express. It was really good. It was my last civilian meal I had for a long time. Um, so after we ate, the plane came right away. We got on, and it was about maybe like a 2-hour flight from Denver to San Antonio. You could feel the humidity in the air. It was just like hot. And little did I know that that was just the beginning. So we got off the plane. I didn't have I didn't check any bags. I just had my backpack with me. So I grabbed it, got off the plane. You go down these escalators, and then there's this area where there were like 600 plus people just standing, waiting. And all of a sudden you see someone in uniform, and you're like, oh crap, it's an MTI. And he told our group on our plane, he was like, all right, I want you guys to get in single file line and have your papers that they give you at MEPS out and your driver's license. So we had all that out, and then he came back like maybe 10-15 minutes later, and he was like, who here knows how to play an instrument? And our group leader, who was put in charge, so like when you're at MEPS, they'll assign someone to you, to your group that you're shipping with. Basically they're just making sure that everyone makes it there, and if like the flight is canceled or delayed, they'll like call to report it so that you're not considered AWOL. But anyway, so he was I think he played like trumpet or something. So he told them that he played an instrument, and they were like, all right, come with us. So they took him away, and then all those people that they are asking these questions, they're going to end up going to band flight. So if you play an instrument or you want to play an instrument in BMT, then you can do that. So after they took him away, they had us come up to this desk, and they looked at the papers that you get at MEPS along with your driver's license, and then they tell you to sit down in these chairs. They had like blue chairs set up along the window, and then they also had like chairs that were like in the airport that were just like in the center. So we sat in the chairs that were in the center, and that was wrong because they were shipping the people that were sitting in the blue chairs to get on the bus to go to the base. So we waited like an extra hour just sitting there until we finally realized that we were supposed to sit in the blue chairs. And then once we sat in the blue chairs, we were on the next group of people to get on the bus to head to Lackland. So we finally sat in the right chairs, and they had us get up. We got on the bus, and the bus ride from the airport to Lackland is like maybe 15-20 minutes. We had a really cool bus driver. He gave us this motivational speech about joining the Air Force, and it was really it meant a lot. Um, so I would really highly recommend that everyone listen to the speech, and just it gets you pumped up for what you're about to do. Um, so we got to Lackland. We got to this big building. It's called the PRC. We got off the bus, or no, we stayed on the bus, and all of a sudden this campaign hat appears out of the dark. By this time, it's probably like 11 o'clock. So she comes on the bus, and she's like, I want males in one line, females in another line, have your papers in your hand, no talking, single file line, and then she gets off the bus. And it was just like that. She wasn't yelling or anything like that. So we all got off the bus, we got in the lines, we walked in, you hand your papers on the desk, and then they shuffled us into like this auditorium. And they had people that were in training already handing out box lunches. After you're done eating, they will have you throw it away, You'll come sit back down, and we sat down and we were in that room for like maybe an hour, and then they start calling off names, and those are the people that are going to be in your flight. So my last name is Ellison, so I was kind of like number 10 on the list to call. Um, so we stood up, we got in the line, she called all the names, we were in alphabetical order, and then you go into this room, and that's where they issue you all your stuff. So you get a black backpack, Apex jacket, all your toiletries, notebooks, pens, pencils, highlighters, stuff like that. Um, you'll try on your Apex jacket and make sure that it fits you, and then you'll sit down in nice and neat rows. You'll have your civilian luggage bag and then the bag that they issue you. So after you get all your gear, you're going to go to your squadron. So I wanted the new dorms, and the PRC is already in that area, so you're not going to get on a bus to go there. They're just going to march you over there. We got on a bus, so at the time, I didn't know that we were going to be going to the old dorms. I still was kind of hoping. But then I heard the lady tell the bus driver that we were going to the 322nd, which I had did my research beforehand, and I already knew that those were going to be the old dorms. No! Anyway, so the bus ride from the PRC to the squadron was like less than 3 minutes, 3 to 5 minutes. The bus pulls up in the parking lot, and you just see like 5 or 6 MTIs with their hats. And my MTI was actually the one to get us off the bus. He got on the bus, and it was like, get off the bus, basically. So we grabbed our bags, we got off, everyone knew it was game time. The first thing they did was showed us like the position of attention and how you're supposed to stand with your hands and make sure your hands are perfectly cuffed along the seam of your trousers, and that you don't talk and stuff like that. Then they shuffled us upstairs to our dorm, and he was like, basically you just stood next to a wall locker, and that was going to be your bed. So I got a bottom bunk, and I didn't have anyone that was on top of. I didn't want the top bunk, so I either wanted like a single bed or like just the bottom bunk of a bunk bed. So I ended up getting the bottom bunk, and they were like, put all your bags down. I believe we unpacked our stuff, just kind of like threw it on top of the locker, and then he called us into the day room, which is where you have like your meetings, like your airman's time. You talk to your MTI later on in the weeks. When you get your element leaders, they'll call you in there and kind of go over things that are happening with the flight or any issues that are happening. So he calls us in there, and we were all scared so the room is like not that big. Well, at least our day room wasn't that big. So we were all in the bottom half of it, and there's also chairs along the room. So you can't sit on the chairs, and we were all in the back half of the room, and we were sitting down, and we were just all scrunched up like sardines. Like no one wanted to sit in the front. So our MTI comes in, and he's like telling us that we need to know our chain of command. He's showing us that. He's showing us how to do our laundry tags for our the tags that you're going to put on your luggage, and they're going to store it away. And he's just going over like information that you're going to need to know for the beginning while you're there. So he had us get up, and we went back to our beds, and we went to bed. They turned off the lights. We had some older week ECs, which I'll talk about later, but they're basically like there to secure the dorm and make sure that no one that's not authorized enters your dorm. So they were just basically watching us for our first night, or up until like our first week. We went to sleep, and then the real fun began the next day, but I'll talk about that in my next video. So basically what I'm going to be doing is just going over kind of week by week what to expect and what we did. Until next time, hey, Defenders!